Okay, so I just have to show you where I am actually vlogging from today because it's absolutely gorgeous. This is a dock on the Esplanade, which is the Charles River. And if you look, let me see if I can get in the distance, it's actually the train that they always show whenever they show Boston, the subway going across the bridge into Cambridge actually. And we have all the boats and everything around. Might be too sunny over here. Okay, but this is a panoramic of everything there is. Okay, so I'm not trying to do this incognito. It's just so bright out here, and all I do is end up squinting when I try to record this, and I've tried recording it a million times, and if I try changing the view of the camera, then it just ends up getting blurred out with the sun. So we're gonna have to do it this way. So I love where I live in Boston because I actually live a couple blocks away from Chinatown, and Chinatown has some of the most interesting things in there. But it got me to thinking about some things. First of all, they have a lot of tacky stuff, and then I'm sitting there going, well, maybe it's just tacky because it's not what I'm used to. And then I see this. And no, you're not seeing things. That is a magnet of Jesus with LED lights in all of his wounds and the crown of thorns that flash. So we've come to call him Disco Jesus. I know I'm probably going to hell for that, but that's what we call him. And there's some other things that I've seen there that we just won't get into it with. Choice of decor, shall we say. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this is probably gonna have a lot of edits in it, and the reason why it's gonna have a lot of edits is because this is where a lot of runners go, and it's a hot day, so there's just gorgeous men everywhere with their shirts off. Keep on getting sidetracked by, shall we say. So I apologize for that ahead of time. That's just not fair or right. So then I got to thinking, well, not just about the decorations and the home furnishings that they have in Chinatown, which tend to be very cheap and tacky looking to me, but then I was also looking at some of the restaurants they have. A lot of the restaurants they have such interesting things as jellyfish sauteed, turtle, tendon, tripe, everything. And the funny thing on there is most of the things are written whatever language the restaurant is, Chinese or whatever, and English. And then I noticed that they even have the English translations for some very bizarre dishes. Then I noticed there's some things without translations. And I wonder what's so bad that they can't give us the translation on it. And then I also went into the Asian grocery store, which I do on a regular basis. And if you've never been to an Asian grocery store in a Chinatown or whatever local Asian area town you may have if you're in a big city, I really recommend it because it's an interesting experience. It's just looking at all the different varieties of dried things and assortments of fruits and vegetables that we don't get in our regular grocery stores. I was also thinking about looking at the meats and stuff. Well, a lot of the meats, first of all, the poultry almost all comes with a head on it. And you actually pay extra for the head. Then the fish department actually has these giant tanks with all the fish swimming. And then you point to the one you want, they catch it with their hands usually, pull it out and then whack it with a hammer and then wrap it up into piece of paper and you're done. The meat selections are really interesting because here we tend to get used to seeing like chuck steak, sirloin steak, porterhouse steak. No, they just write beef or chicken or pork. You never quite know what you're going to get, but they do mark tripe and tendon. And then also all kinds of bones and everything like that. With just very little meat on it, but they love it. And also walking through there, I've noticed there's these two stores that are live poultry places where you go there and they hang these chicken or whatever you want in there and they just hang it upside down with these scales and just let the body weight hang it and tell you how much it is. And Then they put it through these little holes in the wall. They come back out without feathers and not breathing. It's really interesting, but to me it's kind of frightening too. I still got snack on that one. But here's the point of my story. The lesson I actually learned from this was they will eat anything and everything and don't let anything go to waste. And they don't think twice about it. But we're so wasteful, and they probably think how bizarre we are for throwing away what they probably consider such good parts of the animal. And they will a lot of times eat stuff that we just simply won't eat, and they just make do with it, and they're happy with it. I realize that is a very ethnocentric way of looking at life, and that could translate into so many different things if I realize that, God, if I'm looking at just the way these Asians are eating, then why should I be surprised that people that don't agree with homosexuality are thinking the way they're thinking? Because they're just coming from their own mindset and their own, what they're used to. I guess I'm just going to make the conscious decision to keep that in mind before I think anything's weird or strange, and before even mentally just judging something like that. And they're like, because that's the excuse everybody else can use for judging me, and I don't like to be judged. So I just thought it was rather interesting how just a trip to Chinatown and just such silly things brought me to a realization deeper than just the little Disco Jesus. So I want to thank Disco Jesus, the sauteed jellyfish, the turtles in the soup, the poultry with head, the beef tendon, the eel. But I thank all those little things, including a little flashing, probably blasphemous magnet, for something so small teaching me a lesson that I wish everybody could, from a little flashing guy on a cross with flashing LED light wounds. Y'all have a good one. Stuff that gets killed right on the spot. I wonder if they know they're gonna die. Just swimming in this little confined tank, next thing you know you're getting hit over the head with a hammer. Are you my daddy?